She introduced her millionaire boss as her boyfriend to get revenge on her ex until a kiss occurred. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories like this one. Your support truly means the world to us. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us go back to our main character. The music at the party is soft, expensive, the kind that floats instead of plays. Crystal glasses clink. Laughter moves in practiced waves. Everything about the room is polished, controlled, and painfully familiar to her. She did not plan to come tonight. Her dress fits well, but it still feels borrowed, like she is wearing confidence instead of owning it. She takes one step inside the ballroom, then another, reminding herself to breathe. This is just a company event. Smile, stay for one drink, leave early. Then she sees him. Her ex is standing near the bar, laughing too loudly. One arm draped casually around a woman in a red dress. He looks successful, relaxed, untouched by the way he walked out of her life and told her she was not ambitious enough to keep up with him. Her stomach tightens. Before she can turn away, his eyes meet hers. Recognition flashes. Then, amusement. He leans toward the woman beside him and whispers something. They both look at her. That familiar heat crawls up her neck. The same feeling she had the night he ended things, smiling as if he were doing her a favor. She should leave. But then, a calm, steady presence stops beside her. Tall, composed, impeccably dressed in a dark suit that probably costs more than her monthly rent. Her boss. The man who runs the company. The millionaire everyone here is secretly trying to impress. He is supposed to be across the room, surrounded by investors. Instead, he is right here. Are you all right? He asks quietly, his voice even, professional. She opens her mouth to say yes. A lie forms easily. But before she can speak, her ex walks over, confidence dripping from every step. Well, this is unexpected, her ex says, eyes flicking from her face to the man beside her. I did not know you were coming tonight. She forces a smile. I work here, remember? Her ex chuckles. Of course. I just did not think you would still be around. His gaze sharpens, deliberately dismissive. Are you here alone? The question lands exactly where it is meant to. She feels small, exposed. The room suddenly too bright, too quiet. Then, without fully deciding to, she does it. She turns slightly and places her hand on her boss's arm. The touch surprises both of them. This is my boyfriend, she says, hearing her own voice steady even as her heart pounds. I came with him. The words hang in the air. Her ex freezes. Her boss looks down at her hand on his arm, then back at her face. There is a pause. One long second where he could correct her, where he could step away and let the truth crush her. Instead, he does not move. He lifts his hand and gently covers hers, his grip warm, deliberate. Yes, he says calmly. We came together. Her ex's smile falters. The woman in the red dress shifts uncomfortably, and in that moment, what started as a desperate lie becomes something else entirely. Because her boss does not let go. And for the first time that night, she realizes this is no longer just about revenge. The room seems to breathe again after his words settle. Yes, we came together. Her hand is still on his arm. She does not pull it away, neither does he. Around them, conversation slowly resumes. Glasses clink. Someone laughs too loudly. But the air between them stays tight, charged, as if they are standing inside a quiet pocket no one else can enter. Her ex forces a smile. Well, he says, clearing his throat, good for you. He nods at her boss, suddenly careful, suddenly polite. I did not realize. Her boss inclines his head, calm and unreadable. Many people do not. He says, that is all. The ex retreats, pride bruised. The woman in the red dress following him with confusion written across her face. Only then does her body remember to breathe. She exhales slowly, her shoulders dropping an inch. Thank you, she whispers, still facing the crowd. You did not have to do that. I know, he replies. His voice is low, meant only for her. But you looked like you needed help. They stand like that for a moment longer, his hand warm over hers. Then, gently, professionally, he releases her. If you would like, he says, we can step outside for a moment. She nods. They move toward the balcony doors, passing clusters of colleagues and investors. Heads turn. Eyes follow. Whispers trail behind them. She is aware of every step, every breath, the strange awareness that comes with suddenly being seen. The night air outside is cooler, quieter. City lights stretch below them, white and gold. The noise of the party fades into a distant hum. She turns to him fully now. Up close, he looks different. Not just her boss, not just the man whose name appears at the top of company emails. Just a man, steady and composed, watching her carefully. I am sorry, she says quickly. I should not have dragged you into that. I panicked. I can explain. You do not need to, he says. I saw what happened. She hesitates. Then the words spill out anyway. He ended things like I was an inconvenience, like I was holding him back. And tonight, he looked at me like I was still nothing. Her voice wavers, just slightly. Her boss listens without interrupting. When she finishes, he nods once. People who measure worth by appearances usually fear being exposed, he says. You handled yourself well. She lets out a small, disbelieving laugh. By lying? By surviving? He corrects gently. Silence settles between them, not uncomfortable, but fragile. We should be clear, she says finally, straightening. What just happened? It was only for tonight. Yes, he agrees. Only for tonight. Another pause. If anyone asks, she continues, choosing her words carefully, we are together. Just at the event. No complications. No complications, he repeats. They both know that if they return inside now, the questions will come. The looks, the tests. He offers his arm again, this time deliberately. Shall we? She takes it. Back inside, the dynamic has shifted. Conversations stall when they approach. People smile wider, nod deeper. Her boss introduces her by name, not title. Not assistant. Not employee, just her name. Each time he does, something inside her steadies. Then her ex tries one last time. He corners them near the champagne table, his smile too sharp. You two seem very serious, he says lightly. I had no idea this was real. Her boss meets his gaze. We do not owe explanations, he says. But yes, we are serious. The words land heavier than she expects. Her ex looks at her, searching her face for doubt, for cracks. He finds none. Her boss turns slightly toward her, close enough that she can feel his breath. Close enough that the room seems to lean in. Is this all right? He asks softly. She looks up at him. At the man who stepped into her humiliation without hesitation. At the man who could have walked away. Yes, she says. That is when he leans down and kisses her. Not rushed. Not theatrical. Real. The room disappears. And in the quiet that follows, she realizes the lie has crossed a line they can no longer pretend does not exist. The kiss ends, but the silence that follows is louder than the music ever was. She pulls back first. Not because she wants to, but because reality rushes in all at once. The room, the people, the weight of what just happened. Her boss does not reach for her again. He gives her space immediately, his expression controlled, but his eyes tell a different story. Something has shifted. Something neither of them planned for. Around them, whispers ripple through the crowd. Phones lower. Eyes dart away when they notice her looking. Her ex is gone. She does not see him anymore. For the first time all evening, he does not matter. I think, she says quietly, her voice steady but thin, we should stop. He nods. Yes. They stand there for a moment longer, side by side but no longer touching. The lie has done its damage. Or perhaps its work. I will make sure you get home safely, he says. I can manage, she replies quickly. Too quickly. He glances at her. Then back toward the exit. Just until you are outside. Hi. They leave the party together, but this time there is no performance. No hands on arms. No pretending. Just two people walking in silence. Each step heavier than the last. Outside, the night feels colder than before. She turns to him near the curb, city lights reflecting in the polished surface of the building behind them. About the kiss. She begins, then stops. She shakes her head. I am sorry. I crossed a line. He does not answer right away. That kiss was not part of any plan, he says finally. But it was not a mistake. Her chest tightens. That is the problem, she replies. You are my boss. You are my boss. Yes, and I am your employee. Yes. The words hang between them, solid and unmovable. I never want you to think, she continues, choosing her words carefully, that I used you. Tonight was supposed to end with me walking away feeling less small. I did not expect this. He studies her face as if committing it to memory. I stepped in because you were being humiliated, he says. I stayed because I wanted to. The rest happened because neither of us lied in that moment. She looks down at her hands. They are still trembling. I should go, she says. He does not argue. The ride home is quiet. She watches the city pass by, replaying the night in fragments. The look on her ex's face. The way her boss said her name. The kiss that felt nothing like revenge and everything like a choice. When she steps out of the car, she pauses. Tomorrow, she says softly. At work. We pretend none of this happened. He nods once. If that is what you need, it is, she says, or at least it should be. The next morning, the office feels different. People glance up when she walks in. Not openly, not obviously, but she feels it. The awareness, the curiosity. News travels fast, in rooms filled with power. She keeps her head down, focuses on her desk, her screen, her schedule. Then his assistant appears. He would like to see you, she says politely. Her stomach drops. Inside his office, the door closes softly behind her. The room is quiet, flooded with natural light. He stands by the window, hands clasped behind his back, every inch the professional leader she knows. Thank you for coming, he says. She nods, waiting. I want to be clear, he continues. Nothing about your position here is affected by last night. Your work speaks for itself, always has. When heaven the mark of, you can and heaven have lie, relief washes through her. Followed by something sharper. Disappointment. And the kiss? She asks before she can stop herself. His gaze meets hers. The kiss complicates things, he says honestly, which is why I will not pursue anything further unless you choose it freely, without pressure, without fear. Her heart pounds. For now, he adds, I think distance is the right thing to do. She swallows. I agree. She turns to leave, then hesitates. For what it is worth, she says, her voice low. Last night was the first time in a long time I felt chosen. His expression softens. You were. She leaves his office with her back straight and her heart unsteady. What started as a lie to survive a party has become something neither of them can ignore. And the hardest part is not that the feelings are real, it is that walking away from them might be harder than pretending they never existed. The days that follow settle into a careful rhythm. She arrives early, leaves on time, keeps her conversations brief and professional. From the outside, nothing has changed. She is still efficient, still reliable, still invisible enough to move through the office without drawing attention. But inside, everything feels louder. She notices him everywhere without trying. The sound of his voice through glass walls, the way meetings quiet when he enters a room. The calm authority that once felt distant now feels personal in a way she did not ask for. They do not speak alone. They do not text. They do not reference the party. Distance, just as he promised. Then the first crack appears. It happens during a department meeting late one afternoon. She is presenting numbers she knows by heart, her voice steady, her posture confident. Halfway through, a senior executive interrupts. Are these projections reliable? The man asks, glancing toward her boss. Given recent distractions, the room goes still. She understands immediately what he means. The party, the rumors, the kiss no one is supposed to talk about. Before she can respond, her boss speaks. They are reliable, he says evenly. She prepared them. The executive raises an eyebrow. I know what you meant, her boss replies. Calm, controlled, unyielding. And it is inappropriate. The meeting moves on, but the message has landed. Later that evening, as the office empties, she gathers her things slowly, hoping to avoid one more uncomfortable conversation. The elevator doors are about to close when a hand stops them. He steps inside. The ride is quiet. Too quiet. I did not plan to intervene, he says finally, but I will not allow anyone to question your competence. She nods. Thank you. Another pause. This is becoming difficult, she admits. Yes? He agrees. They reach her floor. The doors open. She hesitates, then turns to face him. I never wanted special treatment. You are not receiving it, he says. You are receiving respect. The doors close. That night, she receives a message from an unknown number. It is her ex. He does not apologize. He does not explain. He sends a single line. I see you moved on fast. She stares at the screen, anger rising where embarrassment once lived. She does not respond. The next morning, the rumors are louder. Whispers in hallways, glances held too long. She overhears someone say her name followed by his. By noon, she is called into human resources. The conversation is polite, formal, wrapped in concern. They ask about boundaries, about consent, about whether she feels pressured. She answers honestly, calmly, no. Still, the damage is done. That afternoon, her boss calls her into his office again. This has crossed into territory I cannot ignore, he says. The board is watching. They are concerned about perception. Her chest tightens. I will resign, she says quickly. I never wanted to put you in this position. He looks at her sharply. That will not happen, but you are not the problem, he says, and I will not let you be treated like one. She swallows. Then what are you saying? He takes a breath, something rare enough that she notices it. I am saying that hiding has not protected either of us. Silence stretches. I asked for distance because I thought it was the responsible choice, he continues. But responsibility does not mean avoidance. She meets his gaze. And what does it mean now? It means, he says slowly, that if there is anything between us, it must be honest. Not whispered. Not implied. And not one-sided. Her heart pounds. And if there is nothing, then I will publicly make that clear as well, he answers. For your sake. She considers him. The man who stepped in when she was humiliated. The man who pulled away when it became complicated. The man standing in front of her now, choosing clarity over comfort. I did not ask for any of this, she says quietly. I know, he replies. Neither did I. Another pause. But I am tired of pretending that kiss meant nothing, she says. His expression softens. Just enough. So am I. Outside his office, the company continues to move. Deals are made. Emails are sent. Power shifts quietly. Inside, two people stand at the edge of a decision that will no longer be made in secret. And this time, whatever comes next will not be a lie. The decision does not happen all at once. It unfolds over days. She feels it in the way people stop whispering when she enters a room, then start again as soon as she leaves. She feels it in the careful politeness of emails, the sudden formality where ease once lived. The company is watching now, measuring every step, and so is the board. A mandatory corporate gala is announced the following week, a charity event tied to the company's public image. Attendance is not optional, especially for leadership, especially for him. She reads the invitation twice, her stomach tightening. The last party changed everything. This one could destroy what little balance remains. That afternoon, she is called into his office again. This event will bring questions, he says without preamble. More than before, She nods. People are already asking them. And they will ask louder now, he replies. Which is why we need to decide how we will handle it. We, she repeats quietly. He meets her gaze. If you prefer distance, I will maintain it publicly and privately. I will address the board myself. And if I do not? She asks. Then we do this properly, he says, with structure, with protection, for both of us. She waits. There is a standard option in situations like this, he continues. A personal relationship disclosure. Clear boundaries. Temporary reassignment away from my direct oversight. Her heart pounds. Yes, he says simply, because what we choose next should not cost you your career. Silence stretches. She thinks about the party where she lied to survive. The kiss that broke the lie. The way he stepped back when power made things dangerous. This would mean, she says slowly, that whatever happens is real. Not hidden. Not convenient. Yes. And if it does not work, she asks. Then we end it with the same honesty, he replies. No damage. No whispers. She studies him, searching for hesitation. There is none. I need time, she says. You have it, he answers. The gala arrives faster than she expects. The venue is grand, lit in soft gold. Cameras flash at the entrance. Donors, executives, press. This is not just a party. It is a stage. She arrives alone. So does he. Inside, they move through separate conversations, separate circles. From a distance, they look exactly as they should. Professional. Detached. Then the questions begin. A reporter asks him about leadership integrity. A donor asks her how it feels to work for such a powerful man. The words are polite, but the intent is sharp. They find each other near the edge of the room. This is your last chance to walk away, he says quietly. I will understand. She looks around. At the eyes, waiting for a story. At the people who once dismissed her. At the man in front of her who never did. No, she says. I am done walking away. He nods once. When he steps onto the stage later that evening, the room falls silent. He speaks about the charity. About responsibility. About leadership built on transparency, not image. Then he pauses. There are moments, he continues, when doing the right thing feels risky, when protecting someone matters more than protecting comfort. Eyes shift. Phones lift. I have been asked to address recent speculation, he says calmly. I will do so directly. She holds her breath. I am in a relationship, he says, with someone I respect deeply. We followed protocol, we disclosed it. We chose honesty. The room murmurs. He steps down from the stage and walks straight to her. He stops in front of her, offering his hand. This is my partner, he says clearly. And she is here because she deserves to be. She takes his hand. The cameras flash. Across the room, she sees her ex watching. Not angry. Not smug. Small. For the first time, she feels no need to prove anything. Later, away from the crowd, he turns to her. Still with me? He asks softly. She smiles, steady and certain. This time, she says, I am not pretending. Neither is he. What began as a lie to protect her pride has become a choice made in the open. And for the first time, love is not something she claims. It is something he stands beside her and declares. The morning after the gala arrives with consequences. Not scandal. Not outrage. Paperwork. She sits at her desk reading the disclosure agreement again. Each line clear and unemotional. Boundaries defined. Reporting lines adjusted. Expectations spelled out with corporate precision. This is what honesty looks like when power is involved. She signs. So does he. The office reacts slowly, cautiously. Some people smile with genuine warmth. Others keep their distance, as if afraid respect might be contagious. The whispers fade, replaced by something heavier. Acceptance. Weeks pass. They do not rush anything. There are no secret lunches. No late-night messages. No blurred lines. When they meet, it is intentional. When they speak, it is honest. He never asks more than she offers. She never wonders where she stands. Then the board requests a private review. She learns about it an hour before the meeting. They want reassurance, he says calmly. Not justification. I should not be there, she replies. You should, he says. They need to see you as a person, not a rumor. The boardroom is long and quiet, framed by glass and city skyline. Questions come carefully, wrapped in concern and policy. How do we know this will not affect decision-making? How do we know she is protected? How do we know you are thinking clearly? He answers each one without defensiveness, without ego. Then they turn to her. She straightens. I did not ask for protection, she says. I asked for respect. I earned my role before anyone knew my name. That has not changed. Silence follows. Finally, the chair nods. Then we are satisfied. Outside the room, she exhales. You handled that well, he says. So did you, she replies. Later that evening, they walk together for the first time without a destination. No schedule, no watchers, just quiet streets and the steady rhythm of footsteps. I never wanted my life to be public, she admits. I know, he says. I did not either. Thanks for watching. They stop near a corner cafe, lights warm behind the glass. This is where I stop being careful, she says softly. He studies her face. And where do you start? Here, she answers. He leans in, slower this time. No audience. No pressure. Just consent, clear and certain. The kiss is different. Grounded, real. Months later, the ex tries one last time. He sends an email. An apology this time. Long. Reflective. Too late. She reads it once. Then, deletes it. Her life is no longer shaped by proving anything. The company thrives. Projects move forward. Her name appears on reports without footnotes. His leadership is praised for transparency, not spectacle. One evening, as they sit together in the quiet of his apartment, he speaks without preamble. I am stepping back from direct oversight permanently, he says. Not because we have to, because I want to. She looks at him. You do not need to give up power for me. Opus lose. I am not giving it up, he replies. I am using it correctly. She smiles. What started as a lie, she says, became a choice. He takes her hand. And choices are the only thing that matter. Outside, the city moves on, indifferent and bright. Inside, two people sit in the truth they built carefully, deliberately. No disguises, no contracts pretending to be love. Just something real, chosen openly, and held with intention. And this time, nothing about it needs to be explained. The shift happens quietly. Not in a headline, not in a meeting. It happens the first time she walks into a room and nobody wonders how she got there. Her role expands naturally, more responsibility, more trust. Her work speaks louder than any rumor ever did. People come to her with questions, not curiosity. With respect, not suspicion. And still, she is careful. So is he. They keep their routines separate at work. No shared arrivals. No shared departures. No advantage. No shortcuts. When they disagree in meetings, they disagree openly. When she challenges his ideas, he listens. That is how the company begins to accept them. Not as a story, but as two professionals who happen to choose each other. Then, the crisis hits. A major investor threatens to pull out. The concern is not financial performance. It is image. They worry that leadership has become personal, emotional, distracted. The board calls an emergency session. This time, the tension is heavier. She is not asked to attend. She understands why. Still, it stings. When he returns hours later, his expression is calm but tired. They want distance again, she says quietly. They want control, he replies. They believe love is a liability. And what do you believe? She asks. He looks at her, really looks at her. I believe leadership without integrity is already broken. The next morning, he does something no one expects. He announces a structural change. He transfers operational authority in her division completely out of his influence. He brings in independent oversight, external review, transparency so thorough it leaves no room for doubt. Some call it excessive. Others call it brave. She calls it choice. The investor stays. The board quiets. And for the first time, no one questions her presence again. That evening, they meet somewhere ordinary. A small restaurant with no cameras, no expectations. Just two plates cooling between them. "You did not have to do that," she says. "I did," he replies. "Because I never want you to wonder if you are here because of me." She reaches across the table and takes his hand. "I do not." He squeezes back gently. Good. Weeks turn into months. The relationship deepens without spectacle. They learn each other in small moments. Morning coffee, late walks, quiet conversations about fear, about failure, about the weight of being watched. One night, she admits something she has never said aloud. "I used revenge as an excuse," she says. "But what I really wanted was to feel chosen." He nods. "And I used responsibility as an excuse. What I really wanted was to stop being alone." Silence settles, warm and honest. The past loses its grip. Her ex becomes a story she rarely tells, not a wound she carries. Then, one evening, after a long day, he stops walking just outside her building. "There is one more thing," he says. She looks at him, curious but calm. "I am stepping down from the board next year," he continues. "Not from the company, just the position that creates the most conflict." Her eyes widen. "You do not have to sacrifice that for me." "I am not sacrificing," he says. "I am choosing a future where we do not have to explain ourselves forever." She searches his face, finds no doubt. "What are you saying?" she asks softly. "I am saying," he replies, "that this started with a lie meant to protect you. I want it to continue with a truth that protects us both." Emotion tightens her throat. She nods. "Then let it be real. All the way." He smiles. Not as a CEO, not as a man defending power, just as someone who finally knows what he wants. And this time, there is no audience. No test. Only two people standing firmly in a choice they no longer need to justify. Time has a way of changing the weight of things. What once felt dangerous now feels deliberate. A year passes. Not quietly, but steadily. Her career no longer carries an asterisk. She leads her own division now. Independent and respected. Her name appears in industry articles without mention of him. When people ask how she got there, the answer is simple. Work. He watches this from a distance he chose. Not with regret, but with pride. Stepping back from the board reshaped his days, but not his purpose. He still leads, still decides, still carries responsibility, just without the constant need to defend his heart. Together, they build something slower than the lie that started it. Stronger, too. Then comes the invitation. A formal dinner hosted by the company's largest philanthropic partner. Black tie. Public. Symbolic. Attendance requested, not required. She reads the message twice. This is the same room where it all began. Different year. Same kind of stage. He finds her that evening, sitting on the edge of the couch, invitation resting unopened in her lap. "You do not have to go," he says. "I know," she replies, "but I want to." He studies her face. "Why?" "Because I am not running anymore," she says. "And because this time, if we walk into a room together, it will be because we choose to." The night of the dinner arrives. She steps into the venue alone at first, as she always does. Calm, composed, grounded. Conversations pause when she enters, not out of curiosity, but recognition. She belongs here. Then he arrives. No announcement, no spectacle, just presence. They find each other naturally, as if drawn by gravity rather than memory. There is no need for introductions, no need for explanation. Across the room, she notices a familiar face. Her ex, older now, less certain. Watching from the edges instead of the center, he does not approach. He does not smile, For the first time, she feels nothing at all. Dinner passes smoothly. Speeches are given. Applause comes and goes. When the host thanks leadership for setting an example of transparency and integrity, a few eyes drift toward them. Not accusatory, respectful. Later, on the balcony overlooking the city, she rests her hands on the railing. The night air is cool, grounding. "Do you ever think about how this started?" she asks quietly. He joins her. "Often. With a lie," she says. "With fear?" He corrects gently. She nods. "I was afraid of being small, and I was afraid of being human," he says. They stand in silence. The city glowing below. "There is something I want to ask you," he says finally. She turns toward him. Heart steady, not racing. "I know this relationship has been examined from every angle," he continues. "By boards? By investors? By strangers? But there is one question no one else gets to answer." She waits. "Do you still choose this?" he asks, "when no one is watching?" Her answer does not hesitate. "Yes." He exhales, as if releasing a breath he has held for years. "I have learned something," he says. "Power means nothing if it cannot stand beside truth. And love is not a risk when it is chosen freely." She reaches for his hand. "So what happens now?" He looks at her, really looks at her. Not as a boss. Not as a man defending decisions. As someone preparing to step forward. "Now," he says, "we stop letting the past define us." She senses it before he moves, before he reaches into his jacket, before the city seems to hold its breath. Whatever comes next, she knows one thing with certainty. This time, there will be no pretending. No contracts. No lies spoken in desperation. Only a truth strong enough to stand in the open, exactly where they are. And for the first time since that night at the party, she smiles, not because she needs to be seen, but because she already is. He reaches into his jacket slowly, not to create suspense, but to steady himself. The small velvet box rests in his palm, heavier than any contract he has ever signed. She looks at it, then at him. There is no shock on her face. Only recognition. As if some truths announce themselves long before words catch up. "I promised myself," he says quietly, "that if I ever asked this, it would not be in secret. Not behind power, not behind fear." Breeze, people move behind them on the balcony, distant and unaware. The city continues its rhythm, uncaring and bright. "I have built companies," he continues. "I have made decisions that affected thousands of lives, but nothing has ever required more honesty than choosing you." Her breath catches, but she does not look away. "This began as a lie meant to protect you," he says. "It became a truth that changed me." He opens the box. The ring is simple, intentional, not designed to impress anyone else. "I am not asking you to stand beside my title," he says. "I am asking you to stand beside me, as my equal, as my partner, in public and in private, for all the days we do not know how to plan." Silence stretches. Then she laughs softly, a sound filled with disbelief and relief all at once. "You know," she says, "when I introduced you as my boyfriend that night, I just wanted to survive a moment." He smiles. "And I just wanted to help. And she steps closer. "I spent so long trying to prove I was enough," she says. "To my ex, to this world, to myself." She looks down at the ring, then back up at him. "You never asked me to prove anything, because you never needed to," he replies. Her answer is steady. Clear. Yes. The word lands without echo, without doubt. He exhales, the tension leaving his shoulders as if he has been holding it for years. He slips the ring onto her finger, his hands careful, reverent. Behind them, someone notices. Then another. There is no announcement, no applause. Just quiet smiles. Respectful nods. Later that evening, they leave together. Not as a spectacle, not as a headline, as two people who chose truth when lying would have been easier. Months pass. They do not rush the wedding. They do not perform it for anyone. When it happens, it is small, intentional, surrounded by people who know the full story. Not just the ending. Her ex hears about it through others. He does not reach out. There is nothing left to say. At work, her path continues forward, uninterrupted. Promotions come because she earns them. Her name stands alone. He watches her build something that belongs entirely to her, and he never once steps in front of it. Years later, when asked how they met, she smiles. It started with a lie, she says, and ended with a choice, he adds. Because in the end, love was never about revenge. It was never about power. It was about two people standing in a crowded room, afraid, and deciding to be honest anyway, and choosing. Every day after that, not to pretend,